PC24 ਦੇਖਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੌਲ ਚੀਮਾ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਭਰੀ ਤੇ ਨਿੱਘੀ ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ। ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੁਝ ਮੌਰਗੇਜ, ਕੁਝ ਰੀਅਲ estate ਦੀਆਂ, ਕੁਝ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਤੇ ਕੁਝ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹੋਏ। ਅੱਜ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਕ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਗੈਸਟ ਵੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਹੈ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਤਾਰਫ ਬੜੀ ਜਲਦੀ ਕਰਾਊਂਗਾ, ਪਰ ਐਟ ਦ ਸੇਮ ਟਾਈਮ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੂੰਗਾ ਕਿ ਕੋਵਿਡ ਦੇ ਕੇਸਿਸ ਦਿਨੋਂ ਦਿਨ ਵੱਧਦੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਮੱਦੇਨਜ਼ਰ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵਾਪਸ ਸਟੈਪ 2 'ਚ ਖੜਾ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ। 11,000 ਤੋਂ ਉੱਪਰ ਕੇਸ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਕੀਤੇ ਗਏ ਆ। ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਗੈਦਰਿੰਗ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਰਿਸਟ੍ਰਿਕਟ ਹੋ ਗਈਆਂ, ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜ਼ਡ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਇਵੈਂਟਸ ਰਿਸਟ੍ਰਿਕਟ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਆ, ਵੈਡਿੰਗ, ਫਿਊਨਰਲ, ਰਿਲੀਜੀਅਸ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨੇ 50% ਕੈਪੈਸਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਰਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਰਿਟਾਇਰਮੈਂਟ ਹੋਮ ਫਿਲਹਾਲ ਐਗਜ਼ਮਪਟ ਨੇ ਫਰੋਮ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜ਼ਡ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਇਵੈਂਟ, ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਕਈ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਰਿਸਟ੍ਰਿਕਸ਼ਨਾਂ ਵੀ ਲਾਗੂ ਹੋ ਗਈਆਂ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਦੇ ਵੈਬਸਾਈਟ 'ਤੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਡਾਟਾ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਬੜੀ ਡੇਂਜਰਸ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਮੱਦੇਨਜ਼ਰ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਸਟੈਪ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਹਨ, ਤੇ ਇਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਕਿਤੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਵੀ ਰੋਲ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੁਛ ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਕੇਅਰਲੈਸ ਕਰ ਲਿੱਤਾ। ਸੋ ਹਲੇ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰਤ ਹੈ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਰੱਖਣ ਦੀ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕੋਵਿਡ ਸਾਡੇ ਦੁਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਕਿਸੇ ਵੇਲੇ ਵੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਅਟੈਕ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ। ਸੋ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਕਾਸ਼ਨ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਲੈਣਾ। ਰੀਅਲ ਸਟੇਟ ਦੇ ਰਿਲੇਟਿਡ ਪ੍ਰੀਕਾਸ਼ਨਸ ਇਹ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਹੁਣ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਅਪੁਆਇੰਟਮੈਂਟਸ ਹੋਣਗੀਆਂ, ਸ਼ੋਇੰਗ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਅਪੁਆਇੰਟਮੈਂਟ ਮੰਨੇ ਜਾਣਗੀਆਂ, ਉਹ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਪ੍ਰੀ ਬੁੱਕ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ ਪੈਣਗੀਆਂ। ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਕਿ ਬੜੀ ਜਲਦੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਵਰਚੁਅਲ ਅਪੁਆਇੰਟਮੈਂਟ 'ਤੇ ਵੀ ਸ਼ਿਫਟ ਕਰ ਜਾਈਏ। ਓਪਨ ਹਾਊਸਿਸ ਟੋਟਲੀ ਬੈਨ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਗਏ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਧਰੇ ਓਪਨ ਹਾਊਸ ਦਾ ਸਾਈਨ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਾਲ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ, ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰੋ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੰਦਰ ਨਾ ਹੀ ਜਾਓ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਹ ਇੱਕ ਬੜੀ ਡੇਂਜਰਸ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਹੋਈ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਡਰਨਾ ਨਾ ਡਰਨਾ ਆਪੋ ਆਪਣੀ ਸੋਚ ਆ, ਪਰ ਇਟ ਇਜ਼ ਆਲਵੇਜ਼ ਬੈਟਰ ਟੂ ਐਰਰ ਔਨ ਦਾ ਫੀਅਰ ਸਾਈਡ। ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਡੇਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਾਈਫਸ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ, ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਸਿਕਿਉਰਿਟੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਹੀ ਐਕਸ਼ਨ 'ਤੇ ਡਿਪੈਂਡ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਸਟੈਪ ਲੈਣਾ ਚਾਹਾਂਗੇ। ਸੋ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਸੱਜਣਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਅੱਜ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕਰਨ ਲੱਗਾ ਹਾਂ, ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਇੱਕ ਬੜੇ ਜਾਣੇ ਮਾਨੇ ਤੇ ਮੰਨੇ ਪਰਮੰਨੇ ਰੀਅਲ ਸਟੇਟ ਦੇ ਏਜੰਟ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਮਿਸਿਸਾਗਾ 'ਚ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, but at the same time he is a phenomenal guy. So let me introduce you to Mr. Bogdan Poporaski.
Hello.
Welcome, Mr. Poporaski. This is Paul Sima, and we are live on PC24 TV show. So before you say anything, I'm really astonished to see such a huge list of accomplishment on your profile. You were the Olympian, you were the coach, you are also a PhD in biomechanics, and now you are running your own brokerage, the Spencer Group in Mississauga, and it's a very successful residential and commercial real estate brokerage. And I know you for a long time. You have an amazing sense of humor. So how is this all about you, like from games to real estate? Would you like to say something about yourself?
Yeah. First of all, you have to be lucky to have a specific upbringing, and you have to be lucky to be in a specific situation, in a specific country, in a specific system. And I was brought up in Poland, and my forming years were in Poland. So, the communistic system was letting you go crazy in sports and science and music or arts, but it wouldn't let you go too crazy about economics or political ideas. So, you had to kind of channel your energy. And when you're very young and you have lots of energy, you would like to be visible. You would like to be on top of the world in something. And I had talent in sports, and I wanted to be the Olympic team, gold medalist, winner, Olympic
Wow,
champion.
that's a fantastic.
That was my
phenomenal.
idea from the beginning. I wanted to end in shot put because I was a big guy. The shot put was a good event eventually. So I became pretty quickly successful in the on the junior stage. I was the junior champion of Poland and representative of Polish team. And I went to the Olympics in 1980 in Moscow. and
Wow.
that was my with the Polish team, and it was not an athlete, but as an assistant coach at that time, because I figured out that for the athlete I was not talented enough to be that good. But I knew that in
Mhm.
my mind that if I put my mind into maybe coaching and stuff like this, that I'll maybe get my goal like Olympic champion, right? Or coach of the
Mhm.
Olympic champion. And it was almost there, almost there. Not in Poland though, because that situation just helped me out to see the world. When you're competing internationally, you're traveling internationally, you see the different countries, different people, different ideas, different everything, and they're
Yes.
coming back to your own country and they're looking. I don't know. Maybe I can change this. Maybe I can change that. But if you have the whole bunch of supervision of the government and you cannot do too much by yourself, then you're
Yes.
saying, I don't know. I have to maybe find different outlet. And in 1980, when we were in Olympics, there was the beginning of solidarity movement. You know, the people were restless. The people didn't want to stay in this communism system. So
Mhm.
I took off at that time, and I landed in Austria for the immigration,
Austria.
and then moved to Canada. And then I started again, the sport things, and competed. I represented Canada in 1988 and 1992 Olympics.
Wow.
One of my athletes won bronze medal in decathlon. So it is. I I was kind of accomplished, but then again, it is the high performance sport is the governments or federal matters, right? And if there's
Yes.
no money from the federal level, then you will not succeed because you are fighting against the entire world, right? So,
Yes.
government of Canada cut the funds, and then we ended up in everywhere. I ended up in real estate. As a matter of fact, I was doing part-time real estate already because I like
Uh-huh.
real estate. And
That was somewhere in 1985, 88, something like that.
in '88, it was it was the situation that in '88 Ben Johnson was caught on drugs in Seoul, right? And it was a big
Okay.
international scandal. I was there. I was not his coach, but I was there, and then I saw it from inside out, and I saw it, and I was expecting that actually all of the coaches will be gone after the Olympics because that's the Canadian way,
Yes.
and then I survived. Many other guys survived because we didn't have anything to do with that. But when I was afraid of losing job, then I said,
Yeah.
okay, I'll just maybe do the part-time real estate. I took the license in 1989. I got the license in
Okay.
1989. So it will be 33 years this year. I'm not as good as Barry Lebo, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, I
and
know.
uh, and I was doing part time until 1996 Olympics in Atlanta, and then they cut the whole funding for the sports, and then that was it. So I said, okay, let's do real estate only. But then I'm still
Absolutely.
coaching a little bit on the side. We have the soccer team in Mississauga, lecturing at soccer, pretty nice academy, like 250 kids learning how to kick the
Yeah.
ball. So that's the part that I like, I love, and it was my life. But because money talks, right? Then you have to do something
Absolutely.
for the money, and real
Yes.
estate is good for the money.
Okay.
So that's
Alrighty.
my so I ended up. I started. It was a pretty big brokerage at that time in
Mhm.
1989. It was Roman Cholkan Real Estate. That was a Ukrainian guy who had several offices, and I met the manager, who was a very very good guy. I liked him right from the beginning. So I said, okay, I'm joining you guys. And then
Yeah.
then in 1989, 90, when everything collapsed, right? I
Yeah.
moved to Remax. I stayed in Remax in 2005. I opened my own, right?
Fantastic. It's a very good journey so far for you. And being a coach, I guess, must be the most stressful task. Now you're responsible for other people. You're
I
responsible to
like
make
that.
that show that they are successful, and it is all your how you inspire them. So I'm guessing you must be a great inspirational leader too.
I like that. I like that because somebody was saying, "What has everything? What is real estate to do with sport? What is with coaching?" As a matter of
Yes.
fact, that was the first time when I talked with Roman Cholkan, who was my first, broker, and he says, "So what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I just came back from Olympics in Seoul, da 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 da." And he says, "Okay, so you're a good coach, right?" I said, "Well, I think it is." And he says, "Then you should be a good realtor. You should be a good leader in the real estate industry." And I said, "Well, I don't know." But that's the same idea. What you do is you show what you know. If you know quite a lot, then it's easy to do it uh, because your own living, your own example is enough. So the people will say this is like bringing up the kids. You cannot tell the kid not to smoke when smoking cigarette, right? Or not to drink when drinking. So it has to be your own example, and then own example will kind of uh, reflect and mirror like an entire company. And I have to say that maybe I am kind of too tough sometimes because
Well, that's okay. That's okay.
well, so,
Bogdan,
but the people will take off, because when you're requiring something, say, "Oh, there's too much." No, 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 no. I didn't expect that much of work. So that is these people will not make it, right? So that's right away. As a matter of fact, there are the selection stages in
yes,
sports and also in real estate because that's exactly the same thing. Well, by the way, it is like
absolutely.
I told you before. If you go with the offer and there's 10 competing offers, then the winner will take it all and number two will get nothing.
Yes.
So you have to be as brutal as in teaching and presenting like it is in the world. It is true. If you don't win, you're nothing.
I will come down to that aspect of real estate very soon with you. So, Bogdan, we just got an email telling us that from 5th of this month is tomorrow, things are rolling back. We are going back to step two.
Yep.
Isn't that so unfortunate? We take one step forward and we take five steps backward. I keep telling everyone that we have to be careful. What do you think? How can we
Well,
prevent this thing happening?
Paul, I have a little bit. See, that's my coaching 0-1 approach.
Yeah,
0-1 approach. If I do coaching, if I do the particular program and program doesn't work, then I'm not repeating this program time and time again because it didn't work the first time and it won't work the next time. Sure, you can adjust the program, but you cannot repeat it because if you just did exactly the same thing, that's Einstein's uh, how to say saying about insanity. You cannot repeat the same thing, expect different results. So that is not up to me. It is up to the government and stuff like that. But if I were in the government, I would do totally differently
awesome.
because it is no, you cannot repeat the same thing. If you see that it didn't work first time and the second time and third one, so it means something is wrong. It is not about this or that. It has to be something else, and nobody's really looking deeper into the process anyway. That is my take, and I've got pretty sophisticated look at it.
Well,
But
this has become a very sensitive issue between those who believe in the system and those who do not believe in the system. In yesterday, I was talking about that some people think this is conspiracy. Some people think this is the real thing. Some people think the government is doing great. Some think they are not doing great. So, and everybody is entitled to their opinions. But
that's right.
my thought process on this is we should do our part. When we got relaxations, we should respect those relaxation and newfound freedom after more than 2 years. And if it required us to wear mask, then wear mask. If it required us to stay 6 feet away, Stay 6 feet away. I was in a religious temple the other day. Many people weren't wearing masks. Not only they are endangering themselves, they are endangering other people too.
Uh,
So many of them will say this thing to you. They will say, we are at God's house and God will save us. He doesn't save you because He told you one simple principle, that I will save those, I will help those who help themselves. The first step is helping ourselves, and then seeing how things go about it. It's lucky that this virus strain, the Omicron, is not that serious. It doesn't have that repercussion as other strains were before it, but it spreads faster. And now that is restricting viewings of the properties, and we may soon be reverting back to online or virtual open houses and all those things sometime later if this trend doesn't stop. We're
I
seeing
agree,
added
I agree with
happening.
you. I agree with you. But it is you and me and everybody else actually agreeing with the direction of the government. All right,
Yeah,
that's it. But the
yeah,
government really doesn't know that much because they are repeating the same things all the time. And we had one lockdown, another lockdown, we had the vaccines and everything. It is that should be really discussed on the government level, and unfortunately, it goes everywhere else. And then everybody has, as you said, her own opinion, and therefore, nobody is actually following. Well, not too many people are following
absolutely,
strict rules, right? Because
absolutely,
they, they just they just don't believe it. That's what it is. We as realtors, we have to be very careful, and we have to be uh, obviously responsible for uh, good well-being of our sellers, of our buyers, of our how to say,
absolutely.
sphere of influence. Because at the end, we physically go to the other houses, right? We physically
Well,
can bring something to somebody else's house. We can also get something from somebody else's house. So it is a two-way street.
it's two-way
So
street.
mask will not kill you.
Yeah, and
6 feet will not kill you. They are very simple
yes,
things.
yes.
The other maybe takes that could be left or right, but yeah, some basic stuff
Well,
it
talking about
should be observed, right?
talking about people not doing their part, I would bring the issue of littering in our plazas, on our streets, everywhere that we go. I drive into a particular Tim Hortons on Delhi Road, and when as you come out for the of the plaza, I see so many used cups thrown, tissues thrown, litter all around. And what we fail to understand is who pays for cleaning those plazas. Is it the Tim Horton that pays for it? Or is it us who are eventually paying for that? If not me directly, maybe my neighbors are paying for cleanup, right? Do you see those that clutter everywhere in the plazas, on the street? People just take so much liberty throwing the stuff on the streets and the plaza, which they don't want to keep in their cars. I've also seen some people stop the car, open the door slightly when it's red light, and drop the stuff, that the Tim Horton trays or coffee mugs or whatever they are drinking, right in the lane.
Well, I tell you, Paul, I cannot agree with you anymore. It is uh, how, my my grandmother and grandfather, they were telling me more and more because my parents were very busy working all the time, right? And they were always doing the same thing. Do upon other that upon the other guys would do to you, right? So it is,
Right. Yeah.
uh, and I'll tell you this. I hate when the people are just polluting uh, environment. And
Yes.
I was. Do you know that I've never bought any drinks in plastic bottles in my life.
Yes. The pop cans and
Never
all
ever,
those things.
never ever.
Yeah.
I was brought up in the in the glass area, right? Glass time. So we had milk in the bottles. We had Coca-Cola in the bottles.
Yes.
We had anything in the bottles, and water. we drank from the faucet, right?
Yes.
Then it became this craziness about the water, right? Because you cannot go now outside without a bottle of water because you die if you don't drink right away. So I don't do that.
Yeah.
I only drink when I am really thirsty,
Yeah.
and I'm not killing myself with having 10 or 15 cups or glasses of water because somebody is saying something like this. It should be kind of natural, like animals. They will not drink too much. They will eat they will drink as much as they need. And now I see that government of Canada is going to ban some plastic things. Well, plastic straws will not do it, right? But plastic, forks or knives, that's not good enough. Not good enough. It is so much plastic and so much
There's
plastic
so much
everywhere
plastic.
in the
Yeah.
oceans that should be done first. We don't need anything like climate warming. No, take the plastic first. And
Well,
it is our generation who screwed up that whole thing, because before that there was no plastic fly in the oceans, right? And right now
yes.
you catch fish more plastic than fish, right. So
Yes. Yes.
that is crazy, and I am living that way, and I'm trying to teach the same thing. Okay, just take care of your environment, but you don't have to get crazy. Just little things, right? Little things.
So that's very right. Little thing, one thing at a time is
Yeah.
what we should be looking at, but we have to do our part. I guess many, with so many immigrants coming in and lack of educational tools, they don't even know what they're doing. Sometimes they are totally innocent because they were never told not to litter. Even though there are signs around, there are bins every few feet on in the plaza, on the streets, trying to keep our cities and communities clean. People still disregard them. Another problem that I'm seeing in not only in Peel region but maybe everywhere is the cars parked the boulevard with their trunk section overhanging the road. Alrighty, you didn't put your wheels on the sidewalk, but your car is overhanging. It's in the public place. If something goes wrong, someone hits your car, I don't think you will ever get a claim, A, or B, you may also be sued by someone because you didn't do your part. So I don't know if you see those a lot, Bogdan, but I see those cars all the time, parked on the front lawns, parked on the boulevard, which is a city property. People think this is in front of their home and they own it. They don't own it. They own no land behind after the water valve is installed. There's a city property. They can dig it anytime they want. They can do whatever with it they want. Isn't that right, Bogdan?
Paul, it is. You cannot change it quickly. You cannot do it quickly, but it has to be a steady work towards it. For example, when I left Poland, Poland was not the cleanest place at all,
Hmm.
and we ended up in Austria, and we ended
Hmm.
up in a refugee camp for 7 months in Austria, and there were kids
Okay.
from Poland, and it was. One example that I saw, I speak German, so when we were in Austria, I was feeling good because
Hmm.
I could understand everything, talk and read and whatever. So there's the kid who is going on the little town street
Hmm.
and he's eating banana, and he threw this banana into the garbage can, right? Garbage, well, I would say the garbage area, right? Like basket, whatever. And
Yeah.
he missed it. So the banana peel was lying next to that basket, and
Okay.
his parents are going further. Okay, they're not paying attention to this. Kid is not paying attention to this, and there's this Austrian woman. He says, hey, this peel belongs here. So it is a kind of oh sorry, all of a sudden they're putting the peel back to the to the basket, and then and it's like, and never that would never happen again, right? Because they got scared. But it's the social pressure, because it is so many generations of being taught that way, and we are not being taught that way because nobody's really paying attention at school, at home, in kindergarten, about very basic stuff. And very basic
Yes.
stuff is work hard, be honest, be clean, take care of environment, be good to everybody else. They're teaching some stuff that is less important than that basic, uh, 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 how to say, cooperation and living in this particular place, right?
Yeah, so Bogdan, I have to apologize right here because for some reason the stream didn't go live, but we have been talking a lot, and I would like to apologize to everyone because we did promote this event and somehow the streaming was stopped. We didn't record this episode, but this is what we have discussed so far. So
Okay, no
I
problem.
will start in Punjabi language first. And today I have a guest with me. His name is Bogdan. You can see his phone number on the screen, Bogdan 905 206 1011. ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰ ਭਰੀ ਤੇ ਨਿੱਘੀ ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੂੰਗਾ। ਅੱਜ ਸਾਡਾ ਟੀਵੀ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ ਕੁਝ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ, ਕੁਝ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਤੇ ਕੁਝ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਗੈਸਟ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਬੌਗਡਨ ਪੋਪਰਾਸਕੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਿਲੇਟਡ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਏਗਾ। ਕੋਵਿਡ ਦੇ ਕੇਸਿਸ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਵੱਧ ਗਏ ਹੈ। ਵੀ ਆਰ ਬੈਕ ਇਨ ਫੇਜ਼ 2 ਆਫ ਦ ਪ੍ਰੀਕਾਸ਼ਨਸ। ਕੌਣ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ? ਅਸੀਂ ਖੁਦ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰ ਹਾਂ, ਕੋਵਿਡ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰ ਆ, ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਟਰੈਵਲਰ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰ ਆ। ਇਹਦੇ ਲਈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਫੈਸਲਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ 6 ਫੁੱਟ ਦਾ ਗੈਪ ਮੇਨਟੇਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੱਲਣਾ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਦ ਤੱਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰੀਕਾਸ਼ਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਵਾਂਗੇ ਉਦੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਰਹਿਣੀ ਹੈ। ਤੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਪਾਰਟ ਕਰੀਏ। ਆਪਣੇ ਪਾਰਟ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਘੱਟੋ ਘੱਟ ਮਾਸਕ ਲਗਾ ਕੇ ਚੱਲੀਏ, ਆਪਣਾ ਡਿਸਟੈਂਸ ਮੇਨਟੇਨ ਕਰੀਏ। ਜੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਨਫੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਓਨੈਸਟਲੀ ਕੁਆਰੰਟੀਨ ਕਰੀਏ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ, ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ, ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਚਾਇਆ ਜਾ ਸਕੇ। ਹੁਣ ਇਹ ਦੇਖਣ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਇਆ ਕਿ 11-12 ਹਜ਼ਾਰ ਤੇ ਆਮ ਹੀ ਸੰਖਿਆ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਸ਼ੁਕਰ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਓਮਿਕਰੋਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੇਰੀਐਂਟ ਹੈ ਇੰਨਾ ਡੈਡਲੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ। ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੜਾ ਕੁਝ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕੀਤਾ, ਬਟ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, ਵਿਚ ਇਜ਼ ਵੈਰੀ ਅਨਫੋਰਚੂਨੇਟ। ਇਸ ਕਾਰਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਟੈਕਨੀਕਲ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਕਰਕੇ ਦਿਸ ਲਾਈਵ ਕੁਡ ਨਾਟ ਬੀ ਬ੍ਰੌਡਕਾਸਟ ਲਾਈਵ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਹੁਣ ਇਸ ਵਕਤ ਲਾਈਵ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ। ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੁਆਇਨ ਹੈਗੇ ਹੋ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਮਿਊਨੀਕੇਟ ਕਰੋ, ਗੱਲ ਕਰੋ। ਆਈ ਨੋ ਬੌਗਡਨ ਡਜ਼ਨਟ ਅੰਡਰਸਟੈਂਡ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ and I didn't tell him that I will be speaking in Punjabi. So it's okay for a while. But when I introduce him to you guys, we will be going back in our language that everyone can understand and respond to. So let me reintroduce Mr. Bogdan Popraski, who is a very accomplished person. Let me bring him on screen for you before we go further on this. So Mr. Bogdan is the coach, the Olympian coach of the Olympic winning team. He is from Poland. He has come a long way in his journey from being a coach to a real estate broker. He owns his own company, brokerage company. The name is Spencer Group, and he is doing exceedingly well in residential and commercial transactions. He lives in Mississauga. He works in the area, and if you ever need any help, the number will be shared on screen, and I will ask even Bogdan to share his number with you at some point during the show, so you can get in touch with him and see, not see, actually enjoy the amazing service he is going to provide you. So, Mr. Bogdan, I'm very sorry for this glitch.
No
I hope you
problem.
don't mind restarting certain things. So, I have already covered your aspect that you came from games background. Would you like to expand in a summary your journey from games to Canadian real estate?
Okay, so I'll repeat what we did before. I was brought up in Poland, and to be yeah, to have a pretty good opportunity in developing yourself, you have to be in good surroundings. So I was in the communistic country that was really paying attention to science, to arts, to sports. You could do whatever you wanted to do that way. The only problem was you couldn't do any business, you couldn't do any political things. Everything was just for particular ways of improving image of the country. And I was using it because I was a good athlete, and I thought I would be Olympic champion. That was my goal. But I figured out pretty quickly that I wouldn't be. I was successful. I was the national champion in juniors and a national team rep and stuff like this. So it was good. And then it was. I went to the Olympics in Moscow, and at that time, the communists started to collapse in Poland. So I decided to leave Poland and ended up after some turbulences in Canada. And in Canada, I was able to continue my stuff, sports stuff. And I went to the Olympics in '88 and '92 as an Olympic team coach, and I was coaching until 1997 because I was the head coach for the entire track and field team in Greece, in Athens, and that was it. The funds of the federal government got pulled out, and we ended up doing everything else. Well, I did real estate. Some other guy, he was a very talented guy. He is producing beautiful saddles for the horses. Some other guy, one saddle will cost you $10,000, if not more. Right? They are this kind of.
That's a lot of money, Bogdan.
Well, but he's champ. He's champ, and but when I coached, I was actually doing. I was trying to teach something that I couldn't make it right. Like the same idea that you have to work hard, that you have to do this, you have to do that, and in order to succeed. And then when I joined the first. Brokerage of Roman Cholkan real estate, that's in 1989. Then Roman told me, hey, you're the coach, then you should be good at it because you should maybe recruit people. And the most important thing is to keep the people interested. To be enthusiastic, to be interested in learning something. So I can do that.
Yeah, but Bogdan isn't working in real estate is also kind of coaching work 24/7. You are talking to a client, you are coaching them what's best for them and how to go about an offer or viewing or this or that. Isn't that tons of stuff to coach clients about?
It is. When you look at the business, really, then there's always this leadership. Maybe they call it coaching, maybe they call it leadership, maybe teaching, maybe I don't know what. But at the end, it is somebody who will teach somebody. So at all times, you would have a shoemaker. The kid would come to the shoemaker and say, hey, I would like to be a shoemaker. Okay. Then you'll be stage one, the student, okay, and you watch what I'm doing, you just clean up the floors and stuff like this. Then the step two, you will be apprentice. The apprentice will do some basic stuff, but not everything. And then apprentice will also learn from me, and then from the master. And at the end, apprentice would become master, and apprentice, and then there will be another real estate agent, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, the shoemakers could be good and could be bad, could be in between, right? So there are some, like in everything else, you've got medical doctors who are fantastic, and medical doctors who are schmucks. And if medical doctors are, not happy with my opinion, that's how it is. The same thing is with lawyers. Okay, lawyers are fantastic, and lawyers are terrible. I know so many lawyers who screwed up our deals beyond belief, right? So it is not that we have to put everybody in the same box, because every human is different. And as a coach, you should know that this person has the talent, potential, hard work, and everything, and then this person may not. Now, yesterday I was watching on TV on Netflix or something the history of one of the Canadian rock and roll player. And the kid was his mother was native from six nations, tribe here, and her father was Jewish guy, and the kid was kind of led by himself, and he loved music,
Yes,
and he didn't learn from anybody. He learned as much as possible from him, for himself. But Ronnie Hawkins, he took him
yeah,
under his wings, and Ronnie took him into his band at the end. But before that, he sent him to Arkansas, Alabama, all those things to learn the stuff. They didn't have teachers, musicians, right? There's like official. But when you meet the champ, when you meet somebody who knows how to play, who knows who's got this fire in the belly, the enthusiasm and everything, then you
yes,
learn very quickly. And then also,
absolutely.
it is in the regular coaching, that some people will not make it.
I can testify to that statement because when we learn on our own, it really takes a lot of efforts, time, energy. Maybe that time you can spend for something better to generate more money. That's the rule of economics. So the price of something is what you give up to own it or to get it. This is how economics works. So when I'm struggling way more in learning some trade or some new things, then I'm spending way more time. And same true for all those buyers who think by looking at certain online videos online, by looking at resources, or by googling up what precautions to take when buying a house, they stumble across 10, 15 agents websites, and everybody talks different language, different steps, because those things are what suits them, not you as a buyer, because ultimately they will want you to work with them. And that is so true. And you should, if you're looking to buy or sell a house, it is always better to work with someone who knows the trade, who is going to protect you rather than reinventing the whole wheel. We are the champs of the industry. Bogdan works in residential and commercial in Mississauga. So feel free to give him a call. His number is right now, you can see on the screen. It's 905 206 1011. What a simple phone number you got, Bogdan. I think he is going to sell it to you if you want it for $1 million, maybe. 905 206 1011. Oh, wow. I just memorized it so quickly.
It's easy.
So give it, it's
And my
very easy.
main office number is 1010 instead of 1011. So, I wanted to
So
have close everything.
yeah, feel free to give him a call whenever you watch this feed and you have any concern about real estate. And he's not going to charge you anything for a simple phone call or for evaluating any your home. He's here to help, and that's why he is on this call today, talking about facts or things that concern all of us. We'll be talking social very soon. We'll also be talking about mortgage tips and tricks. Well, I will be talking about why private mortgages are better sometimes. Why should you look into that? Because they are easy solution, not financially, but if you're stuck, they work wonders for you. We'll be bringing those things soon. We are going to talk about certain social issues. COVID is a biggest thing to talk. It's like the back then, initially people you when they will meet, the major topic of discussion would be uh, real estate. Real
Sure.
estate in one or the other form in a meeting. If they see your pin on your coat, they say, "How's the market going on Bogdan?" And then the discussion rotates around this topic. But now, when people get together, I see the dominating discussion today is COVID. COVID has disturbed our lives beyond words. We
They are.
cannot explain it. Many
They are.
businesses lost, many businesses evolved, which is the struggle of the fittest, Darwin's theory. And people are losing jobs. Some people are happy working from home. Parents are upset that kids are now going to be online and they cannot do their daily chores that they usually do. So many things are cluttering up. It's a complete mess. I keep telling everyone, Bogdan, that keep distance. Keep wearing mask whether you believe in it or not. It is okay. It gives another person a sense of security when they see a mask on your face. You may argue the whole day that these masks are not going to stop spread. That's okay. But if it is psychological, why not just do a simple human gesture, helping other human being overcome their fear,
Absolutely.
right? So Bogdan was talking to me before. He was saying that if he were the premier, he was in the government, he probably may handle this issue in a different way. The current government is kind of repeating what wasn't successful before. He is right, because he has his own opinion about that, and I will have him actually repeat this whole thought process he has. Bogdan, up to you.
I'll tell you, when we talk, right? When we talk, it is the same thing in everywhere. You have to be scientific. You have to look. It cannot be fake science. It has to be real science. You have to see what you put into it and what you got from it. So whatever ingredients into the soup you put, you have the soup. Now, if that soup is bad, that is something with the ingredients or maybe with the cook. Those two things have to be looked carefully upon and then changed. Because if you don't change it, the next soup will be bad again, and next soup will be bad again. So the idea is that actually, I don't believe that analysis of the
Yeah,
situation of the last 2 years
yeah.
is is right. It is right, but that's my opinion. Somebody
Well,
will
yeah.
say, "Well, what else can we do?" I don't know, but it is not looked upon because if we repeat the same thing and the same thing is happening again, then
Yes.
maybe something has to be changed, right? Well, I would change.
Well, they say different strains come out of previous strains which are resistant to a particular type of vaccine, and then they evolve. They evolve so fast that the government machinery, the health department, cannot follow it that fast. It's like thieves steal, and then police discovers how they stole. Everything is different, and everyone is responding to incentives. Now the biggest incentive for thieves is online data, which is so easily available. That was the reason all those major government websites were down for a few days. Right, things were very down. But anyways, everybody has their own opinions, and they are correct in their understanding. Nobody wants to put a risk to their lives or their children's lives or their family's well-being. That is all understandable, but I only request this thing. If I am scared and I see you without mask, I get double scared. I may be wrong, you may be right, that's okay, that's regardless. But just an empathy or sympathy for the other person, that okay, for him I will put a mask on. I'm not going to get into the debate about then if it's right or wrong, because that has become something similar to a religious discussion. Like you cannot comment anything on somebody's religion, you cannot ask comment on anybody's belief on whether it is true or whether it's conspiracy or whatever it is. So we just stay away from this controversy right now.
Uh, I I watched binge watching
Yep.
over Christmas break the American show of name The Startup, and I would like invite everybody to watch it because that
Startup.
would be the startup, right? Startup.
Okay.
It is. There are 3 seasons of 10 episodes, and it is about young people who wanted to invent some different kind of internet. It's high tech and everything, but
Okay.
the whole thing is a fantastic analysis of last 5, 6, 7 years in high tech and government intervention and everything. It is just a movie, but I couldn't stop watching it, and
Yeah.
that is just what my kind of adding to somebody who wants to learn something. This costs you
Yeah.
nothing. It's on
Yeah. It
Netflix,
costs you nothing.
but,
Absolutely.
but it is. 30 times 1 hour almost, right? So there's lots of watching, but I couldn't
Okay.
stop watching because it was. But it is me. It is. I like to see really the truth. Not that somebody would tell me something nice and and you're looking good and go thank you very much. No. I would like to see inside of the and the most important part was the analysis of the young generation, 20
Yeah.
something
So
right now, right? Who were
yeah.
just who were being asked about the trust in the big companies like Apple, like Microsoft, like whatever, right?
Yeah.
And the people were
Yeah.
saying, yes, we have to, because they're already programmed like this. Okay, so it is the whole thing, the COVID,
Yeah.
the masks, the government, the media, the social media. It is fascinating, but you have to look at it with your own
Okay.
analysis. And not
Yeah.
everybody
Well,
can
that's
do,
true.
can do it,
That's
but
true.
not everybody is um, able to do it. But it
I
is
would
the
say
people.
this, Bogdan. I will say I'm cutting you off. I will say this in a simple terminology. If there was no mathematics, there were no scientific methods to calculate what is 2 by 2, everybody would have a different answer to that. So I would say 3.2, someone say 2.2 2 into 2 is 2, and there will be millions of answers to this simple equation. Same goes true with all this mess that's around us. People are perceiving it differently. But this is, I know someone who recently he wasn't believing in COVID, but then he got really sick. He had to be pushed into the hospital by his friends where he tested positive for it. And now he's thankful that he took the precaution and then he got vaccinated.
I'll tell you
There are
one
people
thing
who,
like this. My family
yeah,
is vaccinated,
yeah,
and three of them got COVID after
yes,
triple vaccination.
that's
Three
true
of them.
also. That's also true because
Well,
the
it is
vaccination aren't
in
100%
my own
foolproof.
family. In my own family,
Yeah,
two in
yeah.
Poland and
So
one in here. Yeah.
yeah, so I hope that symptoms weren't as severe as if they were without vaccination. They
See,
may have
you
some
were
kind
right
of
at the beginning
defense.
that every case is different. Every case is different.
Every case is
If,
different.
if you have the athletes who are putting the shot, and
Yeah,
they will be looking kind of the same, but they are not the same.
absolutely,
Because one will have to do
absolutely.
10 times something, and the other guy will have to do 8 times something, and then the other
Yeah,
will do 6 times something. And now you, as a coach, have to be smart to figure out who should do
yeah,
what, because you have to see the result. And if result is improvement, it means that you are in good way. If there is no improvement, that means that you are not in good way. It's going
yeah,
down, you're on terrible way. So
yeah.
that thing is it should be more emphasized in our lives lately.
Very right. So Bogdan, that's a very nice conversation we are having, and I guess people will find it useful. And at the same time, because now we have a profession as a realtors, I would like to bring you back into your area of operation, which is residential real estate. We are seeing every listing getting multiple offers these days. I showed a property in Barrie a few days back, and there were 46 offers the next day on this. And some buyers who are kind of just wondering what's going on. First time home buyers are having such a challenge in putting their thoughts together, and suddenly they get a notification from the realtor saying, the house you looked last night has already sold. And I'm also seeing this trend everywhere. So, what advice would you like to give to the buyers who are still undecided? They value home ownership, but they're undecided if they should go around and put an offer on the property, and then I see frustration level going up. What would be your advice to them?
Again, every case is different, right? Yesterday, I was
Yes.
showing the property in Acton. There was a second day or third day on the market, and the offers will be tomorrow. A
Okay.
property is listed for $349,000.
Okay.
Is a wreck. It is a wreck. It is like There's nothing in there except for the
349,000.
shell, right?
Okay.
The property that doesn't even have the parking. So my buyer is looking at it as a first time buyer,
Yeah.
and he's saying, "Well, the family. So
Yeah.
what should we do?"
Yeah.
And I said, "You know how expensive would it be to just bring it up to the living standard?"
Yeah.
And they say, "Well, probably $50,000." I said, "No,
Yeah.
$200,000 for that at least."
Wow.
Because you will not get anybody. But if you cannot do by yourself, then you have to
Yeah.
employ the people who will charge you, right? Now the inflation that is lately crazy in Canada last 2 years, because we are
Yeah.
being
It's 5%.
money is
Close
being
to.
printed, then
Yeah.
to buy the material that would be 4 times more expensive than a year ago.
Absolutely.
So when you are putting material, you're putting the work and da, da, da. So we are talking at least for that little place, at least $200,000, if not more. So altogether,
So
it's like if you bought for
349 will sell
350,
for 349 will sell for 549, more or less.
well, that is the story, right? And then
As a starter.
so why don't you just buy for something that is livable for 549?
Yeah.
It's not
So
that
what
easy
should
to
buyers
find.
do in this case?
I'm sorry.
What should buyers do in this frenzy then? That's
In
what I
this
want.
case, well, I have to be honest. It is like telling the athlete who wants to be Olympic champion that he will not be Olympic champion.
Yeah.
If you cannot tell your client that don't buy, wait, then they'll say, well, then next year, 2 years from now, it will be even more expensive. It might not be, because I've been in this business since 1989. I bought my triplex in 1986 in Hyde Park area, right on Bloor
Yeah.
and Kiel, for $186,000. And I had to sell it because we were divorcing with my ex-wife in
Yeah.
1989, before the market collapsed, right? In
Yeah.
1989, I sold for 366, and I didn't even put one nail into it. So I made
Yeah.
100% profit on it. And then
Yeah.
the guy who bought from me, he wanted to sell for 270, couldn't sell for 270, but there was a very, very, very good tenants. I said, it's being paid off. They're paying out. They wait
Yeah.
for it. He still keeps
Well,
that place now in two
the
and a half
same
million.
thing I've
Now,
been
now,
telling your
but
client.
in '89,
Wow.
it went down, right? So from '89 to '96, we
It's
lost maybe
crazy, man.
30% of the value of the properties, right? Averagely.
But that wasn't every house. That were only a few houses that went down in price. Most of them either held their value or people kind of stayed away from selling them that fast.
You
Every
know,
house doesn't
when
get that.
let's say that the government banks
Yeah.
will set up the mortgage rates on 10%.
Yeah.
We're talking different market.
Yeah.
And when I bought my first house, my mortgage was 15.5%.
Yeah.
So it's just one thing that would change, because there's the mortgage and there's the value of the house, right? The mortgage, the value of the house will be lower. Less mortgage, value will be higher. So, and if somebody, you have to go to the, let's say, to the mortgage broker to get the mortgage for that place. The price is total write down, and then the mortgage broker will say, you have to give me 150% at least down
Yes.
payment, right? But
It's
again,
a,
I
it's a
don't have
kind of very
50%. I
crazy
don't have
market right
50%.
now.
So you are the mortgage broker, you know it, and you cannot
Yeah.
then push the person just to buy it. It's just ridiculous. And
Yes.
as a matter of fact, those young people, the millennials, they're smart. They're not buying.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're saying this, Dad, you want me to buy a house? Give me money.
Yes. So
And
my
dads and
suggestion.
granddads, are they giving them money so they can buy the house? I just thought, yeah, hopefully we'll close on the 7th, the condo of the friend's daughter. She bought the condo in Niagara Falls,
Mhm.
and it is, she would not be able to buy. No way.
Very nice.
But grandmother died, sold their place, right?
Yeah.
They had lots of money for that. So the guy said, okay, I'll give son this much, the daughter this much, so now you can go and buy. Otherwise, there will be no chance for them to buy
Right.
a
Yeah.
house. So
Wow,
what they have to do
that's
is just
amazing.
they have to do the rental, right? And maybe rental is good. I don't know, but maybe there's no other
Well,
way.
it is very hard to give a straight suggestion to buyers. Everybody has to look into their own pockets and their own financial situation. That's what I tell them. But I
Exactly.
also tell the client that if you are very serious about purchasing your property and if you want to stop running around from one house to the other house every other year, then you have to you have to go by your gut decision. There's no logical explanation of how the prices are going, where they will end up, how the affordability will be affected. Right now, we are seeing the affordability is extremely affected,
Yep.
and people are doing everything possible to buy a house, gather more down payment, buy as a cooperative with their friends or families, getting together, purchasing a piece of land,
Yep.
moving to smaller homes, moving to faraway municipalities, and where the prices are also increasing. And
Yep.
my suggestion to you is if you're moving to far off communities, do not work with agents who live 300 kilometers away because they may value the other house from their own market standards. If the small 1100 square foot house here sells for $800,000, and if you ask me to buy your house in 200 kilometers up north, and I will say, oh, that is only $70,000 house, you can simply pay 200,000 for that house. Not only you get financially hurt, you are also increasing the value of house in that particular neighborhood. So
Yep.
try to work with local realtors as much as you can. I'm not discouraging you to work with your own realtor if you have someone here, but people who work local, they have better knowledge of the industry, and you can always get a better price there. This is my
Yep.
take on it. Bogdan, would you like to leave your phone number for the audience?
I didn't understand that.
Would you like to
What did you
leave
say?
your phone number and
Y-
contact information where
Yeah.
people can reach out to you? Want to say
Absolutely.
anything? Yeah.
Absolutely. Number 905-206-1011. My number. You can call me at any time.
So
And that's my
Bogdan,
cell phone number,
Bogdan
and you
Popraski,
get it right away. Right away.
905 206
206
1011.
1011. 905
900
206 1011.
905 206 1011 is how we say it in Punjabi language. 905 206 1011 is the
Yep.
number. You can reach out to him. He's a great guy to work with, and I can guarantee you will not be disappointed whenever you reach out to him for some advice.
You might be disappointed because I'll tell you the truth. And sometimes people that say, I don't know, I expect it would be nicer. Well, it is the life. And life is very often kind of rough. But what I can promise you 100%, honesty, honesty, transparency, hard work, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And we're so thankful to Bogdan for being here today. He spent a lot of time. Bogdan, I'm really sorry for that glitch in the beginning.
No, that was great.
We invite you to be here anytime you want. Just give us a call. If you have something to share with the audience, we
Great.
would be very happy to have you here. We are
Great.
going to expand this TV show as far as we can. It's just the start. We're working out a one-man show at the moment, but soon we will have some help from other people to run this program. So we are
Great.
constrained by our resources. So in the next component of this program, I will be talking about how mortgages are affecting people and how difficult it has become to get a mortgage. And there's some real-time scenarios and some advice or tips and tricks on about purchasing or selling your real estate. So please
Great.
stay with me as I say goodbye to our friend, Mr. Bogdan. Bogdan, thank
Thank
you
you
very
very
much,
much.
sir, for all your time.
Thank you very
Be well.
much. Thank you. I
Bye-bye.
appreciate that. Good night.
ਪਾਲਚੀਮਾ ਦਾ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਫਿਰ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਸੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੁਣੇ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਗੈਸਟ ਦੇ ਕੁਛ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਗੈਸਟ ਕੋਲੋਂ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਬੌਬ ਡੈਨ ਪੋਪਰਾਸਕੀ ਮਿਸਾਗਾ 'ਚ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ। ਇਜ਼ ਏ ਵੈਰੀ ਗੁੱਡ ਮੈਨ। ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਈ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ। ਉਹ ਬੇਸਿਕਲੀ ਕੋਚ ਆ, ਕੋਚ ਸਾਈਕੋਲੋਜੀ ਹੈ। He tries to help his people and inspire them as much as he can. But anyways, ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਵਾਪਸ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰੀਏ ਕੁਛ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਦੀਆਂ, ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਚਾਰੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਘੁੰਮਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਗੱਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅਫੈਕਟ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਾਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਦੱਸਣਾ। ਮੇਰਾ ਫ਼ੋਨ ਨੰਬਰ ਹੈਗਾ 647 333 2273। ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਚੌਗਿਰਦੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਕਲਟਰ ਜਾਂ ਗਾਰਬੇਜ ਲੋਕੀ ਸਿੱਟ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ। ਅਕਸਰ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਟਿਮ ਹਾਰਟਨ ਦੇ ਪਲਾਜ਼ੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਨਿਕਲਦੇ ਹੋ, ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਪਾਰਕੀਆਂ ਪਰਲੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ, ਦੂਰ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਟਿਮ ਹਾਰਟਨ ਤੋਂ, ਉੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਖਾਲੀ ਕੱਪ, ਪਲੇਟਾਂ, ਲਿਫਾਫੇ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬੈਗਸ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, ਉਹ ਪਏ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਂਦੇ। ਇੰਨਾ ਮਾੜਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਸਦੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਸਫਾਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ। ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੀ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਦੇਖਣ 'ਚ ਆਇਆ ਕਿ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਲੋਕੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਰੈੱਡ ਲਾਈਟ 'ਤੇ ਰੁਕਦੇ ਆ, ਆਪਣੀ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀ ਤਾਕੀ ਖੋਲ੍ਹ ਕੇ ਥੱਲੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਗਾਰਬੇਜ ਚੁੱਪ ਕਰਕੇ ਰੱਖ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਐਂਡ ਉਹ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਨਿਕਲ ਜਾਂਦੇ। ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾ ਤਾਂ ਸੜਕ ਬੁਰੀ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਹੈ, ਅਤੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਬੁਰਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਉਹਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਦਿੱਖ ਆ ਇਲਾਕੇ ਦੀ, ਉਹ 'ਤੇ ਵੀ ਮਾੜਾ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵ ਪੈਂਦਾ। ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਮਕਾਨ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਨੇਬਰਹੁੱਡ 'ਚ ਹੈਗਾ, ਅਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਬਾਹਰ ਉਸ ਥਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਮਕਾਨ ਲੈਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ, ਯਕੀਨ ਮੰਨਿਓ ਉਹ 4 ਵਾਰੀ ਸੋਚੇਗਾ ਕਿ ਉਹਨੇ ਇਹ ਨੇਬਰਹੁੱਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਣਾ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਣਾ। ਅਸੀਂ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਰਿਅਲਾਈਜ਼ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਜੋ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਉਹਦਾ ਓਵਰਆਲ ਇਫੈਕਟ ਲੋਕਾਂ 'ਤੇ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਪੈ ਸਕਦਾ। ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਘਾਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੱਟਦੇ, ਤਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡੇ ਪੂਰੇ ਮੁਹੱਲੇ ਦੀ, ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੀ ਦਿੱਖ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਫਰਕ ਪੈਂਦਾ। ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਵੈਲਿਊ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲਣੀ ਮਕਾਨ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿ ਉਸ ਮਕਾਨ ਦੀ ਮਿਲਣੀ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਮਕਾਨ ਪ੍ਰੋਪਰਲੀ ਮੇਨਟੇਨ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ। ਲੋਕੀ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਇੱਥੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਮਤਲਬ ਫ਼ਖਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਮਕਾਨ ਮਾਲਕ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਇਹ ਨੇਬਰਹੁੱਡ ਹੈ। ਕਿ ਜਿਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਨਾ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਜੇ ਸਾਫ਼ ਕਰਕੇ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਹੋ। ਆਪਣੀ ਸ਼ਕਲ ਹੀ ਦੇਖ ਲਓ, ਕਿੰਨਾ ਲੋਕੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ 'ਤੇ ਮੱਖਣ ਮਲਾਈ ਦੇ ਕਰੀਮਾਂ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਫ਼ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਆ, ਨਹਾਉਂਦੇ ਧੋਂਦੇ ਆ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ। ਸੋ ਮੇਰਾ ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ, ਬੇਨਤੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੇ ਚੌਗਿਰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਸਾਫ਼ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਕਰੋ। ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੁਣ ਖਲਾਰਾ ਪਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ, ਗਾਰਬੇਜ ਸਿੱਟ ਦਿੱਤਾ, ਲਿਟਰ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ, ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਦਾ ਮਿਊਨਿਸਪੈਲਿਟੀ ਨੇ ਫਾਈਨ ਰੱਖੇ ਹੋਏ, ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ 500 ਰੱਖਿਆ, ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ 300 ਰੱਖਿਆ। ਐਨਫੋਰਸਮੈਂਟ ਦੀ ਕਮੀ ਹੈ, ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਆਮ ਹੀ ਬਚ ਜਾਂਦੇ। ਪਰ ਜੇ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਜਾਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਪੇ ਕੌਣ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ? ਤੁਸੀਂ ਖੁਦ ਪੇ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਮਿਊਨਿਸਪੈਲਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਬੰਦੇ ਹਾਇਰ ਕਰਨੇ ਪੈਂਦੇ ਆ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਗਾਰਬੇਜ ਚੱਕਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਵੈਂਚੁਅਲੀ ਟੈਕਸ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਲਾਉਣਾ। ਤੇ ਜੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਚਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਛੋਟੇ ਛੋਟੇ 25-25 50% ਟੈਕਸ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਚੁੱਭਦਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਪਰ ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਅਮਾਊਂਟ ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਵੱਧਦਾ ਹੀ ਜਾਂਦਾ। ਜੋ ਟੈਕਸ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਵੱਧ ਗਿਆ ਉਹਨੇ ਘਟਣਾ ਤੇ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ। ਸੋ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਹੱਥ ਜੋੜ ਕੇ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੇ ਚੌਗਿਰਦੇ ਦਾ ਸਫਾਈ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਕਰੋ। ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਇੱਕ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੀ ਆਦਤ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਵਾਰਸਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਦੇਣੀ ਹੈ। ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਵੀ ਉਹੀ ਸਿੱਖਣਗੇ ਜੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਰੋ। ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ। ਦੂਜੀ ਗੱਲ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਇਹ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੂੰਗਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੁਲੇਵਾਰਡਸ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰਾਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਉਹ ਸਰਕਾਰੀ ਜ਼ਮੀਨ ਹੈ। ਉੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਪਾਰਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ। ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਕੋਵਿਡ ਕਰਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਇਸ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਰੱਖਦਾ ਕਿ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਕਿਹਾ ਜਾਵੇ, ਪਰ ਬੇਸਿਕਲੀ ਉਹਦੇ 'ਤੇ ਟਿਕਟ ਵੀ ਮਿਲ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ। ਅਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਹੋਣਾ ਕਿ ਕਾਰਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਬੁਲੇਵਾਰਡ 'ਤੇ ਖੜ੍ਹੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਕਿ ਸਾਈਡ ਵਾਕ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਵੀਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ। ਪਰ ਵੀਲ ਜਾਣ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਗੱਡੀ ਦਾ ਹੁੱਡ ਬੜਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਹੁੱਡ ਨੂੰ ਉਹਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਹੀ ਚਾੜ ਦਿਓ। ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਬਲੋਕੇਜ ਫੇਰ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਸਾਈਡ ਵਾਕ ਤੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਜਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੈਟ ਨੂੰ ਵਾਕ ਕਰਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ obstruction ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਤਾਂ ਦੂਜਿਆਂ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੋਚਣਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਚੰਗੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ। ਆਪਸੀ ਰਲ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਚੰਗੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ। ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਨਾ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਖੜ੍ਹੀਆਂ ਕਰਿਆ ਕਰੋ ਕਿ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਰਾਹ 'ਚ ਰੁਕਾਵਟ ਪਵੇ। ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਗੱਡੀ ਦਾ ਟੈਂਕ ਸੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਓਵਰਹੈਂਗ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਸੜਕ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਡੀ ਬੁਲੇਵਾਰਡ 'ਤੇ ਲਾਈ ਹੈ ਪਰ ਪਿਛਲਾ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਸੜਕ 'ਤੇ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ, ਉਹਦੇ 'ਤੇ ਵੀ ਟਿਕਟ ਮਿਲ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ। ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਦਾ ਬੜਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਕਰੋ। ਇਹਦਾ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੋਣਾ। ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਫਾਈਨੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲੀ ਹਿੱਟ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਉਹਨੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਪੈਸੇ ਉਹਨੇ ਵੀਕ 'ਚ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਮਾ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਟਿਕਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗਵਾ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ। ਇਹ ਮੇਰੀ ਰਿਕੁਐਸਟ ਹੈ, ਬੇਨਤੀ ਹੈ, ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਹਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਰੱਖਿਓ। ਹੋਰ ਮੈਂ ਕੁਛ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਨੇ ਚਾਹੂੰਗਾ, ਮੈਂ ਕੁਛ ਨੋਟ ਕੀਤੇ ਸੀਗੇ। ਅਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਮੈਂ ਇਹ ਕਹਿਣੀ ਚਾਹੂੰਗਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮਫਲਰ ਲੋਕੀ ਲਾਊਡ ਨੋਇਜ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਵਿੱਚ ਐਕਸਟਰਾ ਗੈਜਟ ਪਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਮਫਲਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ